Hey guys, this is Mr. H. Hey, I wanted to do a video on simplifying radicals. A couple of students came to me and they wanted a better, clear explanation on how to simplify radicals. So I wanted to create this video to kind of help with that process. Now, what I'm going to use is I'm going to use the idea of playing cards, in particular playing poker. We're going to use a concept from poker in order to simplify. So I'm going to go through this and hopefully, even though you may not have played poker, in fact, I have never played poker, but I do know a little bit about poker and about hands. So let me jump into it, and hopefully this will be easy to follow and understand. All right, so we're going to use this idea of cards. In particular, we're going to talk about poker, and there's a concept in poker. When you get two of the same kinds of cards, it's called two of a kind. So in this example, I have two aces. And if this was in my hand, by the way, poker, you get 5 cards. If two of the cards were aces, then I would have two of a kind. And that's what they would call it. Okay. Now, this is an example of three of a kind because I have 3 of the same cards. So in this example, I have a 2 here, 2 of diamonds, 2 of spades, 2 of hearts. So that would be 3 of a kind. In the one below it, I have 3 of diamonds, 3 of spades, and 3 of hearts. So that would be 3 of a kind if I had those 3 cards. And this one, the last one, is 4 diamond, 4 of spades, 4 of hearts. So that would also qualify as 3 of a kind. So if you have 3 of the same cards in your hand, that's considered 3 of a kind. And then here is the one that anyone who's playing poker, if you get 4 aces, you're going to be like, wow, I got a strong hand. And this is called 4 of a kind because we have 4 of the same kinds of cards. We have 4 aces. You can have 4 hearts, or I mean 4 twos. You could have 4 threes, 4 fives, 4 queens, 4 jacks, but it would be considered 4 of a kind. So this is called 4 of a kind. This is called 3 of a kind. This is considered 2 of a kind. Now, the reason that I'm using this image is we're going to use this image or this idea for simplifying square roots, cube roots, and fourth roots. So in this case, if I had a square root, that means that I have a 2 here, and 2 of a kind and square roots are going to go together. And then if I were looking at 3 of a kind, this would be a cube root or a third root. And you can see that the 2 threes go together. And then if I had 4 of a kind, that would be a fourth root. So you can see that's the analog for these. So 4 of a kind is considered a fourth root. 3 of a kind is considered a cube root. 2 of a kind is considered a square root. So now let me show you how I'm going to use that idea. So let me get this oriented so you can see it. I need you to turn. Right. So I am going to do a couple examples from here. And I'm going to start with this one, number 5. So this is 5 times the square root of 432. Now they want us to simplify this. So this means that they don't want you to just put into the calculator and then do the square root of 432 because you might get a decimal. They want you to simplify this to the simplest root, the square root that you can have, and then everything else you kind of pull out. So let me explain what you need to do. First thing you need to do is you need to factor this 432. Okay, you need to, I'm going to do prime factorization, and then I'm going to use my knowledge of exponents, and then I'm going to use the 2 of a kind image or analog to kind of show you what I'm doing. So now from here, I'm going to go to the calculator. Now, you can also do this without the calculator, but I'm going to start by using the calculator because you guys all have this available to you, and I just want to show you how to use it. So I'm going to go menu, and then if you go to number, and then you go down to factor. So now, anything that you put inside of here, it's going to factor to prime roots. To the prime, it's going to do prime factorization. So I'm going to put 432 inside of here, and then I'm going to press enter. And it tells me that this factors to 2 to the fourth, 3 to the third. So that's what I'm going to write. I'm going to write 432 is the same thing as 2 to the fourth and 3 to the third. Now, let me go back to my iPad to finish this up. All right, so what we have here is I am going to factor these. So this is going to be 2 to the fourth, 3 to the third, and let me put the square root outside and the 5. Now, I'm going to use the image of your knowledge of exponents. So 2 to the fourth is the same thing as 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 4 of them. And 3 to the third is going to be 3 times 3 times 3. Now that I've got this, remember that square root is a 2, so we're looking for 2 of a kind. So every time we see 2 of the same numbers, we're going to pull it out. So technically, you could say this is 4 of a kind, but we're not looking for a fourth root. We're looking for 2 of a kind. So every time I see a 2, I'm going to pull it outside the radical. Now, let me just say we already have this 5 that's outside the radical. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go inside and I'm looking for every 2 of a kind that I see, I'm going to pull out. So let's do that. So here's 1 2 of a kind. So I can pull that outside the radical. So that's going to be 5 times 2. And then here's another 2 of a kind that I can take outside the radical. So that's going to be another 2 that I bring out. And then over here, I have another 2 of a kind. There's 2 3s that I can pull out. So that's going to be times 3. And then there's nothing that I can do with this because I don't have another 3. So basically that 3 gets left inside the radical. So when I get done, what I'm going to have is the square root of 3. Everything else I was able to pull outside the radical because I found 2 of the same kind of number. So for every 2 of a kind that you see, you can pull it outside the radical. So now I'm almost done. So all I have to do is multiply these numbers together. So 5 times 2 is 10. 10 times 2 is 20. 20 times 3 is 60. So this simplifies to 60 times the square root of 3. Okay? All right. Now, I'm going to move on and I'm going to try another one. Now, this one is, let me make this. This is the cube root of 128. So in this case, we're going to be looking for 3 of a kind. But the first thing that we need to do, just like we did in the last one, is we need to factor this. So let me go and factor it. Let's do factor. So menu 23. And then I'm just going to put in 128. And then I press enter. It's 2 to the 7th power. So I can put that. And let's go to the iPad and finish this up. So 2 to the 7th is the same thing as, let me say, cube root. It's going to be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Should be 7 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, there's 7. All right, now. What we're looking for is 3 of a kind. So every 3 of a kind that you see, you can pull out. So here's one set of 3s, pull out, side the radical. So that's going to be 2 down here. Now I'm looking for my next set of 3s. I got that. I can pull that outside the radical. That's my second set of 2s. And then this last one, there's nothing that I can do with it because I don't have 3 of a kind, so I have to leave that in there. So basically, this would be the cube root of that 2 would be left inside. And the only thing that we need to do to finish this up, actually, let me clean this up a little bit. The only thing that we need to do to finish this up is just multiply this. Will be 4 times the cube root of 2. That's the simplified version of this. and we are done. We can't simplify that anymore. We're done. All right, I got two more examples that I want to do, and these examples are going to have variables in them because I want you to understand what you do with the variables as well. So over here, I've got, this is going to be the first one. And let me move this over a little bit so we can clearly see what we're dealing with. All right, so here, this is the cube root of 448, b to the seventh power, h to the second power. So the again, just like we did in the other ones, we need to find the prime factorization of 448. So I'm going to grab the calculator, menu 23. And then inside, we're going to put 448, 448. And then we press enter. And it says 2 to the sixth power times 7. And so I'm going to go back to the iPad. And I'm going to finish this up. So 2 to the sixth. So first thing I'm going to do is do the cube root. Inside, I'm going to have 2 to the sixth power. So that's going to be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then times 7. So I took that and I just expanded it out based on my knowledge of exponents. Now, I'm going to do the same thing for the b's. I got b to the seventh. So I'm going to go b times b times b times b times b times b. Is that 7? No, that's 6. And I add one more. Now I just multiply them. And that's just my knowledge of exponents. And let me extend this radical all the way out. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the h squared. So that's going to be h times h. Now, just like I did in the previous examples, I'm looking for 3 of a kind. So anytime that I see 3 of the same numbers or letters, I am going to pull it outside the radical. So let's do that. I'm going to use black. So here's 3 of a kind right here. So I can pull that out. So that's going to be 1, 2 down here. And then here's another 3 of a kind that I can pull out. So that's going to be another 2. Can't do anything with the 7, so I'm going to leave that in. And now go over to the B's. I have 3 of a kind right here, 3 B's, so I can pull that out. And so that's going to be times B. Here's another pair or another 3 of a kind. So I'm going to take those, pull them out. That's going to be another B that I multiply. And I can't do anything else with this B and this H. These 2 H's are not enough for 3 of a kind, so I leave them inside the radical. Now, I'm going to rewrite the radical down here, and everything that I left inside, I just leave inside. So this is going to be 7 times B times H, which I'm just going to write again as H squared. I'm almost done. I just need to multiply the numbers in front, and then I'm done. So this is going to be 2 times 2 is 4. B times B is B squared. So this is going to be 4b squared, and then everything inside, oops, this should be a 3. This is a cube root. So this is going to be 7 times b times h squared. So if we simplify this, we get 4b squared, and then we have the cube root of 7b h squared. We can't simplify it any more than that. And we're done. Okay, I got one more that I'm going to do, and then I'm going to post this up. So let me see if I can get this moved up here. All right, so this one is going to be the square root of 275 b to the third power, h to the fifth power. So what I'm going to do is I need to get the prime factorization of 275. So let me go get my calculator and factor it. So menu 23, 2, 3, menu 23, and then I go 275, press enter, and it says 5 squared times 11. Okay, so let's go back to the iPad, finish it up. So if I were to if I were to factor this, it's going to be 5 times 5 times 11. And then I'm going to take this b to the third, and I'm going to write it as b. Let's change the color. Let's make this b times b times b. And then we got h to the fifth. So that's going to be h times h times h times h times h. Okay. Now that I've got it expanded, I'm just looking for 2 pair because this is the square root. So I'm looking for 2 of a kind. So every 2 pair of numbers that I see, I'm going to pull out. So, and let me just draw a line where I can write this. So now let's go. So here is 2 of a kind. So I can pull this outside the radical. So I'm going to have 5 times, let's see what else. Can't do anything with 11. That's not 1 times 1, that's 11. So I can't do anything with that. And then here's another 2 of a kind. We got 2 B's. So I can pull that out inside the radical. And I can't do anything with that B, so it has to stay inside. Here is another 2 of a kind. We got 2 H's, so I can pull that out. So it's going to be times H. And then we got another 2 of a kind, so I can pull that out. So we got H. And then we can't do anything with that. So down here, everything that's left inside, let me clean that up a little bit. We got 11, so I write a, oops. We got 11. We got a B, and we got an H. That's what stayed inside the radical. And we're almost done. We just have to kind of simplify this little piece, multiply it out. So it's going to be 5b h squared times the square root of 11bh. Now, can't simplify it anymore. No more 2 of a kinds inside the radicals. There's nothing else I can do. This is done. Now, let me say one other thing. If you want to check your work, you could store numbers in for BH and key this into the calculator and then key in your answer, and they should match. If they don't match, that means that somewhere along the way you've kind of messed up. But if they're equal, if they're equivalent, then you can feel pretty confident that you at least have done some simplification. You may not have simplified it all the way, but that means that you're on the right track. All right, so let me go back and summarize this, and then I'm going to post it. Basically, what we're doing is we're just using our image or knowledge of if you play poker, if you're not play poker, it doesn't matter. When you see 2 of a kind, it's like a square root. So you're looking for every set of numbers that you see inside or letters you can pull out. If you're looking for a cube root, it's like 3 of a kind. So you're looking for 3 of the same numbers. If you find them, you can pull them out. 3 of the same letters, you can pull it out. Okay. 4th root, although I didn't do an example of 4th root, it would be the same thing. You're looking for 4 of the same numbers or 4 of the same letters, and when you see those, you can pull that set out aside the radical, right? So that's pretty much it. And I hope that this was pretty easy to follow and that you can do that. But if you have any questions, don't hesitate to send me an email or just contact me. And if there's something that's still not clear, I could try to clear it up for you. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off.